Hello everyone, Cambear Run here. Welcome back to the last MTG Arena video featuring the Law Strixhaven colleges. This is Witherbloom Pests. So I've seen a couple of Witherbloom Pests decks running around. A lot of them use Bastion of Remembrance and other cards to be able to just gain life and take life away. I went with a little bit of a different one because I decided what I wanted to do was try and just build up an army of pests, then just drop Blex Vexing Pest, and use the power of Blood Researcher as well. In order to get a huge Blood Researcher, and if necessary I can use 10 to the pests to create an army of pests to just run over my opponent. Hopefully get Blex in there as well. So we've got 4 copies of Witch, so when Witch dies it can learn. To that end we've also got 3 copies of Pest Summoning in the sideboard, just for the lesson. 4 copies of Village Rite so we can sacrifice the pests, gain life off of it. Or something like Witch, or something that needs something else. Yeah, we can sacrifice some of the weak creatures to gain life and draw cards. 4 copies of Fortifying Draft. So I gain 2 life and target creature gains X plus X until the end of the turn, where X is the amount of life you gained. So we gain more life off of other creatures. We can make Fortifying Draft's effect stronger. 3 copies of Hunt for Specimens, so we create a 1/1 Black Arena Pest token, and it's also learned, so we can grab another Pest Summoning. 3 copies of Tend the Pests, so I can sacrifice a creature, create X 1/1 black and green pest tokens when this creature dies, and its X is the sacrifice creature's power. So if we sacrifice something quite strong, we can get quite a few pest tokens. We got 4 copies of Witherbloom Apprentice, so it has Magecraft. Whenever I cast or copy an instant sorcery spell, each opponent loses 1 life and I gain 1 life. So I can use that in Magecraft to just slowly drain away my opponent's life points. I've got 3 copies of Witherbloom Command. I actually think this is probably the strongest command card because of its cost versus effects. The one that I'll probably be using most is Destroy Target Non-Creature Non-Land Permanent with Mana value 2 or less to get rid of some of my opponent's weaker artifacts or enchantments, or target creature gets -3/-1 until the end of the turn. I might on occasion use target opponent loses 2 life and I gain 2 life, but we'll have to see about that one. 3 copies of Sedgemoor Witch, so Magecraft creates pest tokens, that gives me even more pests. It also has Menace, and for Ward, so to be targeted, my opponent will have to pay 3 life, which would be quite interesting. 2 copies of Blex Vexing Pest. I was going to have an extra copy, but I no longer have the wildcards to do that. 3 copies of Blood Researcher, so whenever I gain life, put a +1/+1 down on Blood Researcher. It also has Menace, which would be really, really useful. And then rounded off 3 copies of Mortality Spear. So the only probably one of the downsides to this is there is not a lot of removal, but a lot of it is going to be the fact that you can either drain my opponent or I can overwhelm them with pest tokens. So, and it helps that 2 of our creatures have Menace. So if we can get at least Sedgemoor Witch and Blood Researcher on the field and start gaining life off of either the Magecraft, Witherbloom Apprentice, or the Pest tokens, well, we should be okay. So we got 10 Swamp, 10 Forest, 4 Pathways. So we're going to go to Play Queue. If the deck does well, we'll go into Ranked, but otherwise, we'll just have to see how we go. So we'll just move on to the games. This hand is fine, so long as I can get Sedgemoor Witch on the field. If I sound rather morose, kind of like around this time, is that I have basically just learned that the sport that I love so much is basically about to be ruined, and my club is helping to ruin it. And why do I not have the... Has that been going on the whole time, or I don't have the Union Jack? I'll have to change that. Oh, it's because it's building a new deck, isn't it? I haven't set the bloody card back. Never mind. I'll sort that out later. Alright, Witherbloom Apprentice. So that way we get to have cards in hand. So next time I'll try and get Sedgemoor Witch onto the field, and then... Or we can just go with Blood Researcher. Alright, do need to get more green. Yeah, I think you're going to see a count here. That's why I went with the Sedgemoor Witch, because I have another one. If you want to target it, it does cost 3 life. Ooh. Interesting. So they have to keep that out, then. Okay. That's going to screw up Blood Researcher. First game, we've already got somebody that can counter this. This could be interesting. Let's see if we can get him to kill himself beforehand. So we'll do Sedgemoor Witch. Not really a lot you can do. So, we're going kind of steady on this one. They want to get rid of that, they have to pay 3 life. We've got a ton of these. They have to at least tap 1 red mana if they want to stop me from gaining life off of any of the pests. See, I've got far more life than them, and they're going to keep taking 1 damage every turn. Yeah, they had to basically panic grab and give themselves a ton of life. Otherwise, they were going to get messed up. Don't mind taking 2 here, because I can just gain some life back. Fine. So, what we'll do is play out the Blood Researcher. Play out the Pest Summoning. They're going to have to tap down their Roiling Vortex as well. So that I don't gain the life, because otherwise it's just going to be pointless. Yeah. Ooh. That's interesting. Get rid of that before it becomes a problem. Take that out. There we go. So this has been quite a fun one. I think I've just managed to outlast them by gaining life. Oh, I didn't realize that Roiling Vortex could actually stop your opponent from gaining life. That's quite interesting. Yeah. At this point, he's just trying to keep himself alive. Right. Yep, and I can just block here, gain the life, and then I've won. So yeah, you just basically, you can outlast your opponent. That was fun. You just use pests to piss them off. Anyway, we'll just move on to the next game. This hand is fine. I do probably need a second black man, but we'll see how we go with that. I can play out the Eye Witch first. Use Village Rights if I have to, or Witherbloom Command as well. So just waiting on my opponent. There we go. He's made one mulligan. Yeah. Eye Witch. That's kind of annoying that I had to do that, because... I wouldn't be surprised if most of their deck right now is, yeah. Okay, that's fine if you want to pay the 3 life. So what I can do is put out here, play another one, and then if you remove that, I can grab a load of pest tokens. I do need to see if I can pull out a Blex at some point. The Vexing, yeah. Blex, Vesting, Pest, even. Yeah, I was about to say that's not how that works. Do here, target opponent lose 2 life, target gets 3 minus 1. Now, do I lazily just chuck out... I'll grab me another Sentinel Witch. Because I can now use Mortality Spear properly. Yeah, I thought they might. They're basically just waiting on... Ah, now this is a problem. If I'm only going to draw land, I'm going to get fucked up. I figured they were just basically foretelling a Doomscar just to make sure. Yeah, if they're going to do it again, I'm kind of fucked. Looks like it's an Orzhov Angels deck as well, so... Yeah, they've drawn all of their Fear's Retribution at the same time. And they basically were just waiting on 1 white mana for a Doomscar. I don't have any counter spells in this, so I was kind of screwed. Should have maybe withheld the Sedgemoor Witch, but there we go. So we should move on to the next game. This hand will be fine, we'll play out Eye Witch, and then eventually we'll play out the Sedgemoor Witch. We'll get some cards out. A Fortifying Draft would be tempting, that would be pointless. Oh shit. Well, that's kind of awkward. Gotcha. Get the damage in. Actually, that's going to be annoying. I find this super irksome because now I don't have the ability to... There we go. Yep, and they scoop. I managed to get them on the idea of hitting them, because next time I was hopefully going to get landed, but that was kind of really annoying. I was able to just get rid of one of the Sanctums. But it was kind of irksome, because I was just basically not drawing land, but I think once they realized that I can do stuff like that, they figured there was no point. But anyway, we'll just move on to the next game. This one's a risky keep, but I'm willing to go with it on the grounds I can just play Eye Witch and then get, like, lessons out. I've got Fortifying Draft as well. That'd be a bit mean here, mute. So we'll set more Witch, that's fine. Get the 3 in there for lazy reasons. There goes Wave. Do that before we end the video. This will probably be the last game. Oof. Also, I am flooding really badly. I'm just going to throw that one out there. It's going to cost you 3 life to remove that. I'd rather you didn't, though. Don't mind taking 5 there. Damn it. Yeah, I'm actually genuinely flooding really hard. I don't think I've not drawn a single land card. I've not drawn a single, like, action card in a while. There we go. Kind of lazy to do that, but I don't really have any other choice. And that's a huge risk, by the way. You'll discard a card and play 3 life, and I've got 4 creatures on the field. You can't play that card. Yeah, there he goes. He was about to play the Demonic Embrace, and he looked at it and was like, oh, I have to pay 3 life. I'm not going to be able to do it. Yeah, I think I'm going to make this one the last game. I've got a couple of things to say about this deck, so I'm going to just go straight on to the outro. Okay, I think in truth this deck was a bit of a mixed bag. I think the biggest problem I had was that I couldn't get Blood Researcher very often. I think the biggest problem was kind of crowded out by cards like Eye Witch, Village Rites, Fortifying Drafts, and like Witherbloom Apprentice. I didn't even see Witherbloom Apprentice much. Sedgemoor Witch was really helpful. I think the biggest thing is that I probably should have taken out Fortifying Draft and put in 3 copies of a removal spell like Bloodchief's Thirst and 1 more Blood Researcher. Because it did sometimes feel like I wasn't getting, like, the card that I really needed, which was Blood Researcher, and probably have trying to get 1 more copy of Blacksvesting Pest in there or somewhere. And I think I did need more removal. I tried to build one which kind of, like, works on getting, consistently generating Pest tokens and getting, like, the Magecraft target of Witherbloom Apprentice to combine with Blood Researcher, but it just didn't seem that I was getting the cards, because most of what I was getting was like Eye Witch and Village Rites and like all of my plentiful 1-drops. I think if I was to redo this deck, I'd drop down on some of the 1-drops and at least put in a bit more removal and one more copy of Blood Researcher, because it seemed like they was very, very crowded out. Mortality Spear did come in handy a couple of times, but I found too much I was having to cast it full strength. So yeah, I'd probably have to rebuild some aspects of this deck. I might do that. Like I said I was going to stream last night, and then I kind of got caught up in the whole Super League thing, so I never got round to streaming. Like I said, I was talking... Brief tangent, I am a massive football fan, and I'm absolutely disgusted at the plans for European Super League, especially as I'm a massive Manchester United fan, and my club's parasitic American owners are kind of leading that awful charge. So yeah, I kind of got caught up following that all night, and I got caught up following it some today. This is recorded a bit later than normal. But anyway, this follows for the actual Lawhold College. I keep calling them the Lawhold colleges because Lawhold rolls off the tongue easier. This follows it for the Strixhaven colleges. I will probably on stream tonight talk more about length about what I think about the set and where I think its strengths are. I think it does have some issues, but I think it's not... People say it's a really weak set. I don't think it's that weak of a set. I would say probably if I was to rank the strength of the colleges, I'd say Silverquill, Lawhold, Quandrix, Prismari, Witherbloom. I know people said Witherbloom were going to be quite strong, but I think most of it you need to, like, for instance, this deck I think would need, like, removal from outside of, like, the actual set itself. But, I don't know, maybe I'm just not building it right. But I do think either Witherbloom or Prismari is the weakest college. And I think probably either Lawhold or Silverquill is the strongest, with basically Quandrix slap in between. But anyway, if you've enjoyed this, feel free to leave a like. If you want to see more, you can always subscribe. I've been Canberra Run, and thank you for watching.